again, Josh Cassick, coming to you here for another video. And today, well, since we're on the Pokemon Y playthrough, we need our Trusty Kalos Handbook. Or is it? We'll test. We'll see if this book is really useful or not. Let's begin. Alright, so this is the front cover of Pokemon Gotta Catch Them All Kalos Region Handbook. Stats and facts on over 450 Pokemon. Specialized by Scholastic. Now, first flaw here is stats. Well, I guess in a way it's flaws. I mean, it does have facts based on height and weight of each Pokemon. I guess you could call that stats. But usually in Pokemon, stats have to refer to HP and speed, attack, defense, special attack. It doesn't do that at all. Nowhere in the book does it ever talk about each Pokemon's stats, specifically what I told you. Like HP is the amount of life a Pokemon has. Well, I wouldn't say life, but the amount of energy. Let's say energy it has. And when the HP goes out, like, that means that your Pokemon faints because it ran out of energy to keep battling. That's what it is. So what is his max HP? Attack, physical, defense, physical, special is basically not the physical part, but the essence, what's behind that attack, what's behind that defense. I think that, I don't know all of that because I'm not really a stats person. I don't really care about stats myself. But if you're going to say stats and facts, you at least should have the stats. Come on. But it doesn't. So let's move on to the introduction, or not the introduction, the content, what's in the book. Alright, so here we are. The introduction, or the contents here are the introduction, how to use this book, guide to Pokemon types, central subregions, coastal subregion, mountain subregion, and heroes, villains, and professors. That is an error. It only talks about one professor because there is one professor in Kalos. Well, that's actually a lie. There's more professors in Kalos, I'm pretty sure. But there's only one professor in the book that talks about, and that's the main professor. The professor who gives you the Pokédex. The professor that gives you the starter. All one professor. That's the professor it talks about. So it's not S. Get rid of that S. It should have just been M professor. I guess it goes along with heroes, villains, and professors. But it should really say heroes, villains, and professor. Even though it doesn't really match. I get that. But still, that's a lie. Okay? So now, let's meet the Kalos Pokemon. So, welcome to the Kalos region. Here you will encounter many new Pokemon, plus learn about exciting new skills some of your favorite Pokemon have developed. The key to success with Pokemon is staying informed. Informed about each Pokemon's type, height, and weight can make all the difference in raising, battling, and evolving your Pokemon. Now, knowing its type, useful. Okay, but the way the book set that up is not useful, and I'll show you why, eventually. Battling. Well, if you know some information, you know the type, Yeah, probably. If you know a lot of information, that can help you with battling. Weight. Now, that depends on a move, because some moves actually depend on weight, but not all of them. So really, and you don't really need to know the number specifically. You just need to know, is it heavier than this other Pokemon? And that's what really a move is. Height, I don't think there is any move that's really based on height that, oh, you need to be this tall for this amount of power. I don't think there is. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense. There could be, I could be wrong. I don't know everything about the Pokemon world. I know, because to me, I became a Pokemon gamer when Pokemon Mega Ruby came out. Literally. I got my 3DS. When I got my 3DS, I just played Super Smash Bros. That's pretty much what I got it for. And then a bus driver gave me Pokemon White, which I lost. But that was my first Pokemon game. But I didn't really get into into the Pokemon until Pokemon Mega Ruby. That's really when I got into the Pokemon games. I started watching the anime in Sinnoh. That's when I started watching Pokemon. I think I missed some episodes there, and when I started watching Unova, that's when I've been watching every anime. But and then I went back. I saw Generation 1. I would have watched Generation 2, but I had no access to it. And the library didn't have a complete collection, so there's no point even watching it at the library. So I watched Gen 3, and then I watched Gen 4, Gen 5 over and over again. Even Gen 3 and Gen 1. And then eventually the library finally got Gen 2, and I saw it. I saw Gen 2 for the first time, but that was average. So, yeah, that was pretty much average compared to everything. But basically, yeah, maybe that's just showing how I don't know a lot about Pokemon. I know a pretty good basis. I'm not a noob, but I'm more average. I would say I'm average, maybe a little bit higher than average. Yeah, I'd probably say a little bit over average. I wouldn't exactly say I'm average, because I do know a lot, but there's just some things I don't. So, okay, well, I think that's pretty much what I could say about these pages, so let's move on to the next. Okay, so, in this book, you'll get all the stats and facts you need about the Pokemon of Kalos. You will find out how each Pokemon evolves, which moves it uses, and learn which Pokemon can evolve into Mega Evolved Pokemon during battle. So get ready, trainers. With this guide, you'll be ready to master almost any Pokemon challenge. First, like I said before, stats, complete lie. You'll find out how each Pokemon evolves. That's also a lie, and you will see why. Because it doesn't show, or doesn't show how they evolve. Or it doesn't say how they evolve. It shows what they evolve into, but not how they evolve. Lie. And which moves it uses, that's right. And which you will learn which Pokemon Mega Evolved during battle, that is also true. So, 2 lies there. And it says, so get ready, trainers. With this guide, you will be ready to master almost any Pokemon challenge. I would also say that is a lie. This book will not help you. I'm telling you right now. So basically, I think I already answered the question of, is it trustworthy or not? Is it really helpful? And the answer is no. But now that you know the answer, I still need to show you why. Because I'm just saying, but not showing. And eventually, we will get to that point. So, how to use this book. Here are the basics you will discover about each Pokemon. Name, category, how to say it. When it comes to Pokemon pronunciation, it's easy to get tongue-tied. There are many Pokemon with unusual names, so we'll help you sound them out. Soon, you'll be saying Pokemon names so perfectly, you sound like a professor. Wow! Well, I guess that is right. I really want to sound like a professor. That's nice. Okay, height and weight. How does each Pokemon measure up? Find out by checking its height and weight stats. And remember, good thing, come in all shapes and sizes. It's up to every trainer to work with his or her Pokemon and play up its size. Okay, I think they really went all the way to describe height and weight. Okay, so I guess that is a stat. Height and weight are stats, okay, but not the stats of Pokemon that are specifically used, which is HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. Okay? Possible moves. Every Pokemon has its own unique combination of moves. Before you hit the battlefield, we will tell you all about each Pokemon's awesome attacks, and don't forget, with a good trainer, they can always learn more. Now, yeah, I mean, it does show you what moves. I have no admit of that. But there are a lot of things they didn't do about the moves that they really should have. And I will show you why. Eventually. Alright, so the next page, the description. Knowledge is power. Pokemon trainers have to know their stuff. Find out everything you need to know about your Pokemon here. Well, it describes the Pokemon, yes, but for a Pokemon game, it isn't really all that useful. Maybe it'll be useful for YouTube videos, because a lot of people do videos based on description Pokédex entries. But other than that, it's not really, you don't really need to know that, because it doesn't really help you with the game whatsoever. So, evolution. If your Pokemon has an evolved form or pre-evolved form, we'll show you its place in the chain and how it evolves. How it evolves? What? Lie. What a lie. Yes, it does show what its place in the chain is. That is true. But how it evolves, that is a lie. And I'll show you why eventually. Mega evolution. In Kalos, certain key Pokemon have an all new skill during battle. They can Mega Evolve. They can tap into strength far greater than anything you ever experienced. They can change height, weight, and even type. You will get the new stats in this book. Well, yes, they do have Mega Evolution. Stats, like it says, the only height and weight. And type, yeah, you'll get that, yes. So, definitely not, true in some way or form. Each Pokemon has a type, and some even have two. Pokemon with two types are called dual-type Pokemon. Every type of Pokemon comes with its advantage and disadvantage. We'll break them all down for you here. Sorry about the lighting, but it ruined the picture. But basically what it says is that in the next page we'll talk about the guide to Pokemon types, and you can find in Kalos, find about all 18 types, and they're on the next page. So the next page we're about to see is basically the guide to Pokemon types. And when I'm saying that, I was air quoting because it's not a guide to Pokemon typing. In fact, really, what the guide is a guide to telling you what Pokemon types are. Just what, like, it literally just states, oh, these are the 18 types. And that's it. Literally, that's all it says. And it calls it a guide for Pokemon types. But you will see that. Let's move on. Guide to Pokemon types. A Pokemon's type can tell you a lot about it, from where to find it in the wild to the moves it'll be able to use on the battlefield. Type is the key to unlocking a Pokemon's power. A clever trainer should always consider type when picking a Pokemon for a match, because type shows a Pokemon's strength and weaknesses. For example, a fire type may melt an ice type, but against a water type, it might find it's the one in hot water. And while a water type usually has the upper hand in battle with a fire type, a water type move would act like a sprinkler on a grass type Pokemon. But when that same grass type is battling a fire type, it just might get scorched. Keep in mind that moves can be mightier based on the location of battle. Rock type Pokemon rock at mountain battles. Electric types get charged up near power plants. And ground types like to get down and dirty right in the dirt. And if a Pokemon has two types, that is, if it's a dual type, well, then it's double trouble. Then, here are the 18 different types. Fire, grass, water, normal, electric, bug, ghost, flying, fighting, psychic, steel, rock, ground, ice, poison, dark, dragon, fairy. Basically, yes, so these are all the types, but calls itself the guide to Pokemon types. And it gives you some helpful things, I do have to say. But if you're going to call yourself a guide to Pokemon types, shouldn't you go into it more than just showing, oh, different hints and stuff and then just telling us the types? Because, literally, it just says, for example, a fire type may melt an ice type. A water will defeat a fire type. A grass type will beat a water type, and a fire will beat the grass type. Seriously? Come on. If you're going to call yourself a guide to Pokemon types, at least you should go over how each type is weak to this other type. I mean, literally, if you're going to call yourself that, I mean, that would make sense. Like, it should say, fire beats steel, or fairy beats dark. I mean, if you're going to call yourself a guide to Pokemon types, you should do that. And also, maybe, if you're going to call yourself a guide, you should go over the dual typings and the advantages of that. To me, that is a really important factor to this entire thing. And simply, it doesn't do that. It literally doesn't. I mean, let's say, okay, I'm facing a fairy type, what do I do? I walk into this guy, would I think, oh, uh, steel beats fairy? Would I get that from there? No, you wouldn't. There's no possible way where you would get, oh, steel beats fairy from this guy. And that is what this guide is lacking. It calls itself a guide to Pokemon types, but it's not. I mean, it gives you some information that's useful, but you can't call yourself a guide to Pokemon types. You just can't. It is not a guide to Pokemon types. It is a guide to just saying different information of things of that type. Like, it literally is not a guide. I mean, not really. It literally just says, just a little bit of information, and then shows you the types. I wouldn't even be interested in this. You could look up on the online and it'll give you a better stuff. I don't know about all the typing because dual typings though, because not every Pokemon, not every dual typing has been used, so we don't know all the advantages of dual typing. But I think Game Freak would probably know that, and so they could have added to this guide at least. I mean, if you have a fire grass type, the advantages of that, well, first, either water types will do normal effective or none. I mean, it really depends because usually when you add dual typings, any super effective move usually becomes normal effective if that typing gets added to something that's usually super effective against that other type. So for instance, since grass beats water, most likely if you add grass to a fire type, water would do normal effective. Now that isn't always the case because if you add a dragon type to a grass type, fire is not going to do much. It won't even be normal effective, I don't think. It still would resist it. I think it still resists it. I could be wrong. It could still be normal effective. I mean, I don't know all that. I'm just saying that dual typings have their advantages, and yes, that is true. It does talk about that dual typing does have its advantages, but I mean, how are you supposed to know that? This guy is a guide to Pokemon types. It tells you, oh, dual typings have an advantage, but how do we take care of that advantage? How are we supposed to know, like, how to use that? I mean, yeah, it's an advantage, but what makes it an advantage? It could describe that, yet it doesn't, and therefore it's not really a good Pokemon guide at all. I mean, not a guide to types. So, not a very useful guide to types, I have to say. So let's just move on. You get the drift here. Let's go. Okay. Welcome to the Kalos Central Subregion. Welcome to the heartland of Kalos. The Central Subregion has many fertile farms, gardens, and parks. It's also known for its fast-flowing rivers. The Central Subregion is famous for the amazing Fire-type, Bug-type, and Grass-type Pokemon, including Go-Go, Charizard, and the rainbow-colored the rainbow-colored Vivillon. Plus partner Pokemon Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. Discover how many Central Region Pokemon you already know and meet some new ones. Okay, so you got the starter Pokemon right here. Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. I picked Froakie because of Greninja, which you will know eventually once we keep playing the Pokemon Y playthrough. So yeah, nothing too bad there. I think. I mean, is that useful? The book is split up in the Pokédex and the sub-regions of the Kalos region. The Pokédex is also split into the three things, and that really makes a lot of sense. But I don't think it's really useful, per se. In fact, I kind of find it annoying, especially in playing the game. But I mean, I don't think it's useful, and I think there's a lot of information that you need that's with this guide, especially when it talks about welcome to the Kalos Central subregion, because this doesn't really mean anything unless you played the game And so I will get to that point later on that front. Now let's get to the first Pokemon on this page. We got Abra, a Psychic type, and basically, like I said here, is Abra evolves into Kadabra, which evolves into Alakazam, and then Alakazam Mega evolves. And as you could tell, like I said, it does show you its place in the chain of evolution. But you could also tell from this picture right here, I mean, it is a little blurry because of the lighting, but it does not tell you how Abra evolves, or how Kadabra evolves into Alakazam. So, you can already tell that that is false. It does not tell you how it evolves, like it said previously. And but let's get closer into the box here, and I'll show you what that means as well. Okay, so here is the data on the Abra. Like I said, it's going to start with the pronunciation, the height, the weight, the possible moves, and the description. So it's pronounced Abra. It's 2'11". Weight is 43 pounds. And possible move is teleport, which, since Abra can only learn teleport and some, I think, other moves, I'm not 100% sure. Because it doesn't really say, it just says teleport. And I think that is true. That is true, but I'm pretty sure there are some moves that it can learn that doesn't state. Possibly, I could be wrong, but this doesn't tell you the TMs or anything like that. And there are more flaws to telling you the moves than is shown here, because Abra is a pre-evolution, so it's probably better off telling you a Pokemon that has more moves. But I think one flaw about this is that it does not tell you what level it learns them. And I think it should, because let's say, I'm facing a dragon type Pokemon, and my Pokemon can learn a dragon type move, but when can it what dragon type moves can it learn? It can learn Dragon Breath. Now that is an actual dragon type move, but I'm just giving an example here. What level does my Pokemon? What level does it learn? Oh, great! I need that move. Why has he learned it yet? Why has he learned it yet? And why he hasn't learned it yet is simply because he doesn't learn Dragon Path to, let's just say, level 50. I'm just giving an example here, and oh great, my Pokemon's level 20. There's no way I need that move right now. How could it possibly? This is not good. Like, seriously, you have a Pokemon that you need a move for to beat this Pokemon, and this tells you a move it can learn, but doesn't tell you what level it can learn, and therefore you have to look up on the internet to learn what level does it learn that. So in a way, that is a flaw. It should tell you what level the Pokemon learns that move, and because then the book is kind of pointless, because then it tells you the moves it can learn, though it doesn't tell you what level they learn it, and therefore you could just look it up online. The online would not only just tell you what level the Pokemon learns the move, but it'll also tell you what moves it can learn, and therefore making this book obsolete, or not specifically the book, but that part. And then let's read the description. Even when it's asleep, which is most of the time, Abra can sense an attack coming and teleport away. Well, like I said, the description does not really matter in the gameplay when you're battling. It really doesn't. And besides, you probably want to evolve Abra right away into a Kadabra, so it really doesn't matter. So, yeah. And basically, like I said, the height, I don't think really matters. The weight only matters if you have that move that matters about weight, but that's not every move, and that's only certain moves, and not every type has that. So, yeah, basically kind of pointless, and I think it's cool. I don't think it's like bad. You can make YouTube on videos like, what? This Pokemon's actually this height and this weight? I mean, that's cool, but it really doesn't have any useful for the Pokemon games or anything like that. Not much. I mean, not really. Depending on what Pokemon, if it can learn that move that involves weight, then maybe. But not every type has that type of move. So, yeah, let's kind of move on. Alright, now I'm showing you the Abra page again to show you the next page. Okay, so on the next page is Angus/, a Steel Ghost type. Basically a sword Pokemon that has another form with a shield. And basically, it's pronounced. Oh. A lot of people pronounce it Aegislash. It's pronounced Aegislash. I don't know. But it's 507 and it's 116.8 pounds. It learns Fury Cutter, Pursuit, Automize, Shadow Sneak, Slash, Iron Defense, Night Slash, Power Trick, Iron Head, Head Smash, Sword Dance, Aerial Ace, King's Shield, and Sacred Sword, which is kind of weird because Sacred Sword is the special move of the Sword of Justice, which the three Swords of Justice, which are legendary Pokemon of the previous region, Unova, and so it's kind of can learn that King Shield that is Angus/'s special move. Basically that's what makes it turn into that shield form. As you could tell, like I said, it shows you all the moves it could learn, but that doesn't tell you by level up, TM or HM, basically that, or move tutor and all that, and that makes it kind of really kind of useless, except for if you did play the game. See, like, this game is kind of, the game and this guide kind of go hand in hand in a lot of cases, where some information you need this book doesn't exactly give, but the information in this book are useful, but some are only useful if you have the game, and some are just not useful at all. So, it really depends. Now, the reason why I'm showing Abra to Angus/ is because the book is alphabetical order. Now, alphabetical order isn't exactly a problem, but let's say, oh, I'm reading Abra, and I like the information about Abra and all that, and then it says Kadabra, Alakazam. In my opinion, they should have kept the Pokemon together. It doesn't matter if it's on the same page. If it's going to the next page, it should be the next Pokemon in that line, and it should keep doing that. But except for this book splits that. It goes by alphabetical order so that the Pokemon lines are all mixed up around the book because they don't start with the same letter. And I really feel like that is a problem. And it's more of an opinion, and the way they did it is actually pretty good, but still, if I'm reading Abra, I probably want to go to Kadabra, but then I have to skip several pages just to go to Kadabra. And it doesn't really tell you what page they're on, and that could also have been nice if it actually did that, if it actually said what page they're on. I mean, that, maybe, if they did that, I would totally forget about the fact that it goes from Abra to Angus Slash or all that because it's alphabetical order. If they just told me the page, it would make it a lot easier. But it doesn't, and therefore this is a flaw. And even though it's more my opinion, other people might find it useful. I just don't. And so I count that as a flaw. So let's move on here. So one thing that I think they did right when they were making it alphabetical is that they made each letter a different color. So basically here, Charmander is greenish blue. And you could tell from the A's that it was a different color. So, yeah. And I think that made it a little bit more useful, but I wouldn't say it saved it. I wouldn't say that. But I think it was really good that they did that, at least. They at least did something, but I really don't think it saved it, but I think it's just an important note to say. Wow, guys, this page, Kadabra. What is wrong with this page? Well, if you look at the type, it says Poison Flying. Lies. It is a psychic type. An Abra evolving into a poison flying type is not true. When Abra evolves into Kadabra, it is a psychic type. When Kadabra evolves into Alakazam, it is a psychic type. All of that line is a psychic type. Now, I don't know, when it Mega evolves, it could have added a type, but I'm pretty sure it's still psychic type with, but literally, all psychic type. That is a lie. Now, you can even tell Teleport, Kinesis, Confusion, Disable, Miracle Eye, Alley Switch, Side Beam, Reflect, Telekinesis, Recover, Psycho Cut, Roleplay, Psychic, Future Sight, Trick. None of those are a Poison Flying type move. Okay? I mean, literally. Now, before you guys, wait a minute. Why would they just put a Poison Flying type there? Too big to be a typo. Or is it? Because you could also say, oh man, that is a huge typo. But it is not a typo. It is done intentionally. And you're probably saying, wait, if the Pokemon Company made this and they know they're typing, why would they put that there? Well, it's because of a Kadabra. That's why. So, when Kadabra was first made, this psychic guy, I don't know what his name, but he does, there's some guy who's like famous and he does all this psychic stuff, sued Nintendo saying that Kadabra is supposed to be him, a Pokemon version of him, and so he sued Nintendo for doing that, and so that's why you don't see Kadabra in a Pokemon card. There are literally no more Pokemon cards of Kadabra. I mean, there still is, but like there are very small of them, and they're very expensive, and there are probably some on internet somewhere, but they don't sell Kadabra cards anymore. Second, it's probably why if you see Kadabra is one of those Pokemon that evolved through trade in the Pokemon games. And there's a stone called the Everstone, and if you put it on a Pokemon, it will never evolve. by level up, or by trading, or by any other means of evolving. The Everstone will deny it from evolving. It doesn't do that for Kadabra. Don't matter what you do, if you trade a Kadabra, it will evolve into an Alakazam. And it's for exactly that reason. And so, they probably wanted to put Kadabra in this book, but they don't want to be sued, so they said just put Poison Flying type on it. And I'm sitting here saying, first of all, why just Poison Flying type? I mean, some of these moves are normal type. You could have just said it's a normal type at least. I mean, that's just lying, in my opinion. Yes, it is lying. But you could have at least said a typing that its moves actually go with, like a normal type, because Recover is a normal type. Trick, I don't think is a normal type, but there are normal type moves in here. So, my thing is, you could at least set a normal type, because it does have normal type moves. But you don't. And you just pick Poison Flying, I don't know why. Or, you could just get rid of Kadabra entirely. Who needs Kadabra? I mean, I certainly don't need a Kadabra. Alakazam is way better. I mean, so, like, I mean, I know you probably don't want to get rid of Kadabra, but, or at least, don't put him in the book. Just don't. Don't just lie. Don't put a typing that's a lie. Don't put Kadabra in it. I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to lie about its typing because you don't want to be sued. I mean, even in my opinion, I'm pretty sure you can still get sued, and I don't think a point of changing its type is going to change it. I mean, I don't think that. So, if you're worried about being sued, just don't put Kadabra. Don't lie about its typing. I mean, this is a false statement and a lie. It is clearly a lie. Right in your faces. I mean, there's just no words that would change your mind. I'm ranting about this. This is just wrong. Wrong. I mean, there are a lot of wrong things in this book, but this takes the cake. This is so wrong that it is just... you just can't say it. It's just wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong. That's all I'm going to end it here. Wrong. Alright. Welcome to the Kalos coastal subregion. Whether you prefer the shore or the sea, you're sure to find interesting Pokemon in the coastal Kalos subregion. You will find lots of water-type Pokemon here, and sandy ground-type and rock-type Pokemon, too. Wingull, Tentacruel, and Staryu are plentiful here, as are Onyx, Tyrant, Rhydon, and Crocodile. Okay. Welcome to the mountain subregion. Greetings from the highest point in all of Kalos. The subregion is filled with icy, natural beauty. It's known for Victory Road and the world-famous Pokeball Factory. The biggest attraction in the mountain subregion are the Pokemon. Here, you will find Dragon-type Pokemon such as Garchomp, Noivern, and Goomy, plus Ghost-type and Poison-type Pokemon like Gengar, Litwick, and Trevenant. I don't know. I always had a hard time pronouncing that Pokemon's name. And of course, the mountain peaks are packed with Ice-type Pokemon, including Vanillix, Mamoswine, and Bergmite. Alright. Yeah, like I said, not really useful unless you really have the game. And even then, it's not really that useful, I guess. It gives you some information, so that's really nice. And if you check the Pokédex and you read this, and then you know, it could be useful. But, like I said, it's not useful by itself. It's that you need the game to make it more useful. So, pretty much that. Let's move on. Meet the heroes, the villains, and the professors. Wrongo. That is 2 wrongs in one sentence. First of all, one professor. Right there at the bottom of the corner where it says Professor Sycamore. That is one professor, not 2 or more than 2, as plural stands for. And second, it doesn't even go in order. It goes from meet the heroes to the professors, then the villains, because villains are on the next page. So really should say meet the heroes, professor, and the villains. That's what it should have said. And third of all, this entire page and the next page are about the anime. This book is about the game, not the anime. I don't have a problem if it talks about the heroes of the anime, but at least actually talk about the heroes that are actually in the game, which this does not. It literally does not. There are 4 people in the game that are heroes, or at least friends with the protagonists, that are not in this book. At least it should talk about. I mean, they're all 4 of them except for one is because the one in the game is basically the Ash version for the game. But at least talk about that. I mean, now, Serena is a hero of the games. Okay? She's a hero in the games, but this Serena is talking about the Serena in the anime, not the Serena in the game. Now, they're somewhat the same, but there are some key differences. Now, Clement and Bonnie, they're the heroes of the anime, not heroes of the game. I mean, they're on the side of the protagonist, but they are only in few parts of the game because he's a gym leader, and Bonnie's just his sister. So they're just going to be together. I mean, they don't have any other part that has to do with stopping the villain, which I'll get to about later. But I really don't have a problem if it talks about Ash Ketchum and them. It's just that why, if this game is supposed to be a guide to the Pokemon game, and it's going to talk about the characters, it should at least talk about the heroes that are in the game and not the anime. But let's just go over them and read. Ash Ketchum. Ash is a 10-year-old boy from Palatown in the Kanto region. He focused on his goal of becoming a Pokemon master since he began the Pokemon journey. Ash has traveled through the region of Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, and now Kalos. His loyal Pikachu is always by his side. Pikachu. Ash's constant companion and best friend Pikachu is an electric-type Pokemon. Pikachu has been with Ash since his first days as a trainer. Ash is traveling through the Kalos region with some new friends. Meet Clement. Clement is the Lumiose City gym leader. He's also a scientist and inventor, though his inventions don't always work the way he expects. His partner Pokemon is Chespin, even though he did get Chespin later on. His first partner we really got to see was Buttlebee. Now, Bonnie. Bonnie is Clement's little sister. She's not old enough to be a trainer yet, but she loves taking care of Clement's Pokemon. Like Tedenne. Now, technically, Tedenne is Clement's Pokemon, but it's really Bonnie's, and if you watch the anime, you will understand that. I mean, she didn't catch it because she's not a trainer, and so Clement had to catch it. But when Bonnie becomes a Pokemon trainer, she's going to get to Dene. I mean, you will understand this if you watch the anime. Serena. Serena is just starting her journey in the Kalos region, and her first Pokemon partner, Fennekin. Now, in the anime, Fennekin evolves into Braixen, but it really in the games it really depends on what Pokemon you pick that she gets, because it's mostly random depending on what Pokemon you get. So, well, it's not random. I mean, it's set, but I don't know everything about that. But she in the game, she's not always gonna have a Fennekin. That's not always the case, and that's not gonna happen. Like, say if you pick Fennekin, she's not gonna get Fennekin. I mean, there's no two Fennekins. There's only one Fennekin, one Froakie, and one Chespin. So, literally, it depends on... it really depends on what you pick. If she gets the Fennekin or not in the game. And there's also Kalos Pokemon Professor, Professor Sycamore. The Pokemon Professor for the Kalos region, Professor Sycamore, his duties include giving new Kalos region trainers the first Pokemon, like every professor does. But now, if you watch the anime or played the games, you know that every Pokemon professor is based off a plant. So, Professor Oak, Professor Birch, and I don't know the rest of the professor's name offhand. Professor Judifer. Yeah, Professor Judifer. So, that's another one I remember, but I can't remember Sinnoh. That's the only professor I can't really remember, because it's not really rememberable, while the other ones are. So, yeah, alright, so let's move on. The villains. The villains, come on. Team Rocket. Team Rocket is not even the villains of the Kalos region. They are the villains of Johto and Kanto, specifically Kanto, because that's where they started, and they just been following Ash everywhere. But the actual villains of Kalos is Team Flare, and they're nowhere in this book whatsoever, and they're both in the game and in the anime, and Team Flare is the only villain in the game. There is no Team Rocket in Kalos. I mean, there's probably information about them somewhere in the game, but they're specifically them and not in the anime. Now, specifically, the people that actually follow Ash because of Pikachu is Jesse, James, and Meowth, and they're so annoying and cringy. I wish they're just gone already. Okay, but literally, they're so annoying. They keep failing. They're not good villains, and they're just bad. They're annoyingly bad. They keep going after Pikachu, even though they lost and lost and lost and lost and lost, and the list keeps going. The list just keeps going. They failed every freaking time. It's just, they're so annoying. There are cases where they actually ended their story, but they decided, one of these guys we need to come back. We need to come back. Just leave them alone. Can they just stop? I want them out. It's just, I'm sick and tired of Jesse, James, and Meowth. I'm just sick of them. The only time I really liked them was the first time I saw them, because it's the first time. And second, in Unova, because in Unova they actually act like villains. They actually act like villains. They did their job. They actually did succeed in several occasions. You know, at the end, they lost, but that's what happens to villains. But they actually acted normal. Like normal villains. Like awesome, cool looking villains. But then they went back, and then it's just no. A lot of people hated Unova, the series, the game, but I really like what they did with Team Rocket and Unova. It's just, that's the only time I really liked them. Every other scenario, I hate them. I want them gone. I want their story to end. I don't care if they get electrocuted. I don't care if they die. I don't care if they just stop being villains. Either way, just get rid of them. Get rid of them for the last beacon's sake. I want them gone. Alright, now let's just read what it says here. Since the moment Ash began his Pokemon journey, Jessie, James, and Meowth, also known as Team Rocket, have been one step behind him. They are determined to get their hands on Pikachu. Team Rocket is a criminal organization bent on the world domination. Fortunately for our heroes, they are not very good at it. Thank you for actually agreeing with me. They are horrible. Horribly flawed. Though he comes from now let's talk about James here. So, though he comes from a wealthy family, James chose a life of crime with Team Rocket. He has a soft spot on for his Pokemon. Jessie. She's short-tempered and somewhat vain. Jessie often bosses around her Team Rocket partners. James and Meowth are her closest friends. Meowth. Team Rocket's Meowth taught himself how to speak like a human. He helps Jessie and James with all their criminal schemes. But I'm not wrong either. There is a shame because they fail. But so let's just end it here. Well, guys, since we put all that information down, now let's really answer the question. Is the Kalos Handbook trusty or not? Is it useful or not? And the answer is not really, no. Some information is useful. A lot of it isn't. There are a lot of lies in the book. And some of the information that could be useful need another part to it that the book just doesn't have. So, no, it really isn't. It's not useful at all. And, it's more of a piece, a puzzle to the greater help that you really need. And I guess that's life because there are a lot of puzzles in life. But, I do not recommend getting the book because I had to buy it for like $20. And if you could find it for $1, maybe, because there are actual some useful things in here. But pretty much anything you could get in this book, you could really get on the internet. So, yeah. Alright. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please turn to my next video. Thank you. Goodbye.